Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. This week, Frost School students took the idea of a state fair from the book Charlotte's Web and created their own fair with information and celebrities from all 50 states. East Brunswick residents in urgent need of police, fire, or medical assistance can now call 911. This week, Mayor Oskowsky gets the details from 911 coordinator Captain Fred Laurie. Also this week, Stan Fischer of the Cable Television Advisory Committee provides a cable update. East Brunswick librarians spread the word about the library's Summer Reading Club program. And we'll also give a summary of the Township Council meeting held Monday night. We'll close with footage from the high school class of 93's prom. But first, here's a quick look at highlights from next week's programming on Channel 8. Tuesday evening features representatives from River Realty, Sam's Club, and Cellular Express, all winners of the EB18 Award for Property Improvement. That's on EB18 at 7 o'clock. At 7:30, Frank Knoppenberger speaks with Phil Hill on Sports Talk. Tune in for a review of East Brunswick High School sports. At 8 o'clock on Legally Speaking, Township Prosecutor Keith Burns discusses the practical workings of the municipal court with host Larry Sachs. Wednesday night's lineup includes Look Great, Feel Great at 7, For Art's Sake at 7:30, and The Arts at 8 o'clock. This Week in East Brunswick returns Thursday night at 7. At 7:30, join Patty Sullivan for a tour of the Staten Island Zoo on aging aspects. At 8:30, Women and Disabilities, The Path Less Traveled, focuses on the special challenges experienced by women with disabilities. Check the Community Bulletin Board for additional programming information.
Hello, citizens of East Brunswick. I am Ira Oskowsky. I'm here today to discuss with Captain Laurie of the East Brunswick Police Department the recently implemented 911 enhancement to the telephone system. I want you to listen, if possible, very, very carefully, because this is a very important issue that will affect the very lives of East Brunswick residents. With me is Captain Laurie. Welcome, Captain Laurie, to this program. What is a 911 telephone enhancement system?
Well, Mayor, first of all, I'm very pleased to bring this system to East Brunswick Township from the Department of Public Safety. Ultimately, the system is going to save lives and be of tremendous importance to each and every person who either lives or shops or travels in East Brunswick Township. The 911 enhanced telephone system is basically a computer-enhanced, software-driven telephone system that will expedite emergency services to the community. There have been other 911 systems in the state. New Brunswick is a classical illustration of a 911 system. However, the system in East Brunswick is an enhanced system. And by enhanced, what we mean is that when our police dispatcher receives a call on the 911 system, on a computer-aided dispatch screen, they will know the telephone number from where that call is being placed. They will also know the name of the party and the address of the party where that phone is listed, and they will also know the fire company and the rescue squad that services that particular address.
How could 911 be accessed?
911 can basically be accessed, Mayor, in three different ways. First of all, it can be accessed by any business or residential telephone. Second of all, it can be accessed through any coin-operated phone, and no coin is needed to establish a 911 connection with the Department of Public Safety. And lastly, 911 can be accessed through cellular telephone service. So we have three distinct ways that we can access 911 in this community.
When did the township first start working on the 911 system?
We became active, and this is the end of a 3.5-year project that we're very, very happy to see conclude because of its benefit to the community. But we actually began work on this project in the latter part of 1989. In January of 1989, PL 1992 was passed by the state legislature, and that was the birth of 911. And we began work on the project actively in the fall of 1989.
You know, it's funny, it's something that's been coming for a long time, and I'm really happy that it's here. Maybe you could tell the viewing audience how this project was originally funded.
In the fall of 1989, and then ultimately as the budget process carries over in the spring of 1990, we went to the Township Council, outlined the project and the need to implement this particular project, and we initially received a $30,000 grant from the Township Council to purchase the hardware portion of the 911 system. And from those funds, we purchased 3 Bell Atlantic Rockwell 911 answering points, and we also purchased call checks and some other hardware that was necessary to implement the system.
Going back to the operations, how will the 911 system be handled differently by public safety than it currently is under the current emergency system?
Under the old emergency system, when a caller would call 911, the dispatcher would make an inquiry with the party as to the location and what the problem was, and a patrol unit would be dispatched to assist the resident. Now, of course, we have this critical data which is in front of us that we can use as a tool to aid the party, especially for those people who are visitors to the East Brunswick community who don't know where they are. Now we know exactly where they are, and we can dispatch the aid to them. But most important, we had to meet very stringent state training requirements for our police dispatchers. A new dispatcher, before they're even allowed to work in the communication room, must complete a minimum of 80 hours of formalized classroom training in the 911 system, which includes also emergency medical dispatch. So we have the training which is there. Now when a resident calls with a medical emergency, instead of a patrol car being dispatched to the scene and the rescue squad, our 911 dispatcher will stay on the line with that resident, and basically through a series of medical cards that we have available to them, hopefully provide them with some life-saving or immediate first aid that will stabilize that victim until the rescue squad or the paramedics arrive on scene.
I know that there are very, very specific rules as to when 911 should be accessed. What are those rules?
This is probably one of, if not the most important part of this particular broadcast, and to get this message through to the community. 911 should only be accessed when there is an urgent need for the response of police, our fire, or our EMS people. And the word urgent is there when you have life or property in jeopardy.
What will happen if somebody accesses it when it's not a 911 emergency?
We have a feature that's built into the 911 system that should someone call with a request on the 911 system that does not meet the state criteria for 911, that call will receive a transfer to a recording, and it will remind the caller that the call does not meet the guidelines for 911, and they will then be requested to call in on our non-emergent line into police headquarters.
And what is that number?
The number that the resident should use for non-emergency calls for police services is 390-6900.
Can you repeat that again?
Certainly. 390-6900 for all non-emergent calls to police headquarters. And obviously, if you have a police emergency or a fire emergency, or an EMS emergency that's going to need an immediate and urgent response, please access police dispatch through 911.
What are some of the steps that an individual should take if they do have to call 911? Is there guidelines that they should follow, and what steps should they take?
Yes, there are, Mayor, and some of the things that people can do to more or less help themselves, first of all, is to try to remain as calm as they possibly can. In certain situations, that's entirely difficult, to say the least, for the caller. They should try to speak as clearly as they possibly can. Explain to the telecommunicator exactly what the problem is and where the problem is located. They may be asked to give their name and address by the telecommunicator, and they should respond positively to that request. And most important, they should remain on the 911 line until the call is terminated by the police dispatcher, because there may be an ongoing situation such as a crime in progress where the dispatcher may want additional information, such as a description of the suspects or which way did the suspect vehicle travel, and an amount of information that would also be helpful in, let's say, a fire situation or a medical emergency situation.
One of the things that has always been a concern of mine, and has been a concern I know of public safety as well as the rescue squads and the fire departments, is that in East Brunswick the numbers on many houses are not clearly marked. Why in the 911 system is it very, very important to have these clearly marked?
As someone who basically has their roots in police patrol, there's nothing more frustrating than to, as a patrolman, to receive a radio dispatch to an emergency, and then basically you arrive in the area or on the street, but you're unable to locate the house or the business or the location where this emergency is taking place because of the fact that it's not properly marked. This becomes even more critical, Mayor, after the hours of darkness, or, as you know, some streets in East Brunswick, such as, I'll use for instance the Old Bridge Turnpike. You have number jumps on the Old Bridge Turnpike where the numbers do not correlate. You also have situations, again, such as the Old Bridge Turnpike, where one side of the road is East Brunswick and the other side of the road is South River. This is also not only a concern of the police department, but it's, as you know, a concern of our fire service in East Brunswick and also our rescue squads in East Brunswick. Several years ago, the Township Council considered this, and they passed an ordinance, ordinance number 62, which basically states that all businesses and residences shall be marked so that they can be seen from the street, that mailboxes have lettering on them, numbering and lettering no smaller than 2 inches, and that all homes have letters or numbers on them at least 4 inches in height, so that these residents and businesses can be clearly identified.
I think that's fantastic, and I really think the residents should really look at their own individual units and their houses to make sure that they are clearly marked. Besides this program, which I thank you for being here, is very informative, what else is the East Brunswick Department of Public Safety doing to promote the 911 system? Well,
in addition to this program, Mayor, we do have on the community bulletin board on Channel 8 a constant message advising the residents of East Brunswick that 911 is active and basically how it can be accessed. Second of all, a letter was sent to all members of the community advising them that 911 was now active, and they were given some telephone stickers along with that letter. I strongly urge that they use these telephone stickers and place them on their telephone so that not only will they and members of their family have the ability to access 911, but should they have a visitor or a relative from another community that would come to their home, that they would know how to access 911. All of our police vehicles now have all new decals on them. The old telephone numbers have been removed, and 911 is now on the side of all of our police vehicles. And lastly, our DARE officers are in the school system as we speak today, and they are educating all of our children prior to their summer vacation on 911 and how to access 911.
Captain Laurie, I have to compliment you. You really got the information out on a very, very timely basis, and all of East Brunswick could feel safer in their homes with the 911 system. And I compliment you for the work that you have done, and also thank you for being here today, giving us this information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Fisher. Today I'm at Frost School with a very exciting event, and here's Donna McAvoy, fourth grade teacher, to tell us all about it. Donna, what is happening here today?
Today at Frost School we have a culminating activity for Charlotte's Web, an integrated language arts study, and the students' social studies focus on the 50 states. We first conceived the idea, Mr. Brobman, my teaching partner, and I, when we were trying to develop something very exciting for the children to bring a focus for their classwork. And as you can see, they've done research on all the 50 states. They've dressed as important dignitaries from the states. We have activities that go along with Charlotte's Web, the book, the fair where Wilbur wins his prize. The activities involved research. It was a sequential research activity. The children found out about their states, did some research, wrote reports, made posters, travel posters. They wrote to their states. And here we are today enjoying the fruits.
You have a beautiful day. I see lots of PTA people involved too. What are they doing?
Oh, absolutely, Amy. We really couldn't have done it without their help. The PTA really pulled together the whole festival for us. They provided funds for the activities. They worked day to day with us in planning and getting everything set up. They're here today helping out, and very much a partnership here at Frost School. We're very happy to have them.
Great. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for coming.
Hi, I'm Stan Fischer, Chairman of the East Brunswick Cable Television Advisory Committee, and on behalf of the committee, I'm very pleased to offer you some suggestions on how you might be able to reduce your monthly cable television bill. Before I get into the actual suggestions, let me give you a few things in preliminary. First of all, we have produced a flyer. It is available at the library, the Senior Citizen Building, and the Community Beach. Please pick one up. It contains all of the tips I'm going to give you tonight. Secondly, as I speak, you'll see some phone numbers on the screen. Please call any of those phone numbers to get additional explanations or clarifications of some of the points I'm going to raise. Lastly, some of the hints I'm going to give you involve disconnect fees, and if you subsequently change your mind and want to reconnect fees. So please, if you're going to make any changes, consider those fees if they're applicable. Now let's get into the actual suggestions. First of all, are you aware, if you're not a major cable TV watcher, if you watch basically the local channels, that Stora offers a package called Limited Basic. It costs only $8.95 a month, and in comparison with the regular basic fee of $24.70 per month, that could be a savings of about $150 a year. I'm sorry, about $180 a year. So that's an alternative if you're not a big TV watcher. Secondly, let me suggest that you look at your monthly bill, remind yourself what you're paying for. For example, are you renting a remote from Stora? They cost you $3.95 a month. Remotes such as this, which I own, cost far less than 1 year's rental. So you can substantially reduce your bill by returning a rented remote to Stora and buying one at one of many local stores. Let's see. Additional outlets. They cost you $6.90 a month. That's about $83 a year. Did you hook up an additional outlet when you had a young child down in a playroom or in a bedroom, and now that child has grown off to college or out of the house? If you're not using that additional outlet, disconnect it. Save yourself some money. Let's talk about premium channels. Are you paying for a premium channel, $12, $13 a month, and you never watch it or hardly ever watched it? Maybe you hooked up to the Disney Channel when you had children at home. Consider disconnecting those premium channels. Also on premium channels, Sports Channel costs $13 a month. Did you hook up to it so that you could watch hockey and basketball and you never watch baseball, or the other way around, you're a baseball fan and you never watch winter sports? You can disconnect Sports Channel during the season when you don't watch it and then hook it back up when that season begins again. There are disconnect fees, there are reconnect fees, but you still might save some money. Also, Store now offers Sports Channel on a one-night viewing basis, so that if you're only watching 1 or 2 baseball games a month or hockey games a month, maybe you should consider disconnecting Sports Channel and watching it only on a one-night basis. Let's talk about being a senior citizen. If you qualify under the Pharmaceutical Assistance to the Aged and Disabled program, you are eligible for a 10% discount on your monthly cable bill. In order to get it, you have to call Store. But if you qualify under that act, you are eligible for a 10% discount. If your service goes out, you're entitled to an outage credit if it's out for more than 6 hours, but you have to call Store in order to get that credit. Last but not least, if you hardly ever watch television, if you get good reception on your indoor or outdoor antenna, you could consider dropping cable completely. There is a big downside to that. If you drop cable, you're not going to be able to watch programs such as this on Channel 8. But it is a drastic alternative, but one that you could consider. And those are our hints. Remember, the flyers are available in the library, the Senior Citizen Building, and the Community Beach. Call one of the phone numbers you see on the screen, and thanks for watching.
Last Thursday, at a packed Board of Education meeting, the board voted to appeal a court decision allowing a Bible club to meet at East Brunswick High School. Close to 100 residents jammed the new boardroom on Route 18, voicing their opinions both for and against an appeal. Voting for the appeal were Dr. David Seiden, Board President Patrick Sir, Norma Teicher, Neil Rosen, and Tom Maum. Voting against the appeal were Nancy Paulson, Russell Walker, Robert Van Wagner, and Dr. Henry Pritzep. The Bible Club case began in 1991 when students at East Brunswick High School wanted to form a Bible club but were denied by the board, stating their closed forum policy limiting extracurricular clubs to those only pertaining to the East Brunswick High School curriculum. A student at the high school at that time sued the board, and in April of this year, U.S. District Court Judge Harold Ackerman ruled in favor of the Bible Club, stating the board actually maintains a limited open forum, allowing clubs like the Key Club, a service organization, to meet. The appeal will now be filed and heard in the 3rd U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia.
At Monday's Township Council meeting, Township Finance Director L. Mason Neely presented information to the Council on an interlocal agreement with Fire District Number 2.
The fire districts have to prepare their budget for an election in February. And so, as they prepared their budget, they looked at what was the then known assessed valuation or tax base upon which they would build their budget. Because of the adjustments and the Tower Center tax appeal and the ultimate adjustment to Tower Center, their tax base that they had used to build their budget was smaller, their budget base they used was larger than the actual tax base. The impact was that when a tax rate rolls up by a penny, they get the amount that the voters had approved. The difference between what 6 cents will produce and what was their budget was a significant dollar amount. They were somewhat upset. They spoke to the mayor and to a number of you council members and said, this constitutes a problem for us and it's an unfair windfall to the town.
Neely was able to work out a plan with the help of Township Attorney Bert Bush, which calls for the adjusted money to be applied to the fire district's debt service agreement, a solution which all parties felt was equitable. In other council news, Mayor Oskowsky recommended that the council support state legislators who want the state to release to municipalities the excess money from the collection of gross receipts and franchise taxes.
The state legislature want to give us back what already belongs to us, technically. And I'm just asking the council to support a resolution to go to our local state officials, Jackson Ogre and Harry Thurman and Jeff Walsh, asking that they also support the additional aid figures for 1993 and 1994. We're talking about the gross receipts and franchise taxes, which obviously does belong to us. There was a surplus, Lou, in this year's budget and in next year's budget that works out in total to about $581,000.
Should the state and Governor Florio release the surplus funds, the additional revenue could trim the 1993 tax rate by 2 cents and the 1994 tax rate by 1.5 cents. A resolution will be prepared for discussion at the next council meeting. Summer's here, and it's time for kids of all ages to sign up for the library's Summer Reading Club. This year's theme comes from the Magic School Bus series. The program is designed to encourage readers and pre-readers alike to read and have books read to them throughout the summer months. Participants choose a team, either the Lobster Bus or the Crab Bus team, and record all the books they read in their Reading Club folders at the Youth Services Desk at the library. Librarians have visited all of the elementary schools in town to invite youngsters to sign up. Readers who sign up for the Magical Mystery Tour will read books in 6 special categories, and everyone who completes the tour will receive a prize. The program will conclude in September with a Magic School Bus Carnival on the 12th. For more information about the Summer Reading Club and how to sign up, call the Youth Services Desk at the library at 390-6789. In less than 2 weeks, about 550 East Brunswick High School seniors will graduate in a ceremony at J. Doyle Field at the high school. We'll close this week's show with scenes from their prom held Friday night at the Renaissance Hotel in East Brunswick.